So, you remember this guy? Yeah, the Freedom. Well, I do, and because I have two, because I have this one and I have the 2.0 Freedom, I was thinking, well, why not? We're gonna give him the same treatment I gave the Strike. So that basically means the entire body, including the wings, is gonna get the same phase shift deactivated treatment. The only thing I don't touch is the beam rifle and shield. So we're gonna be taking the same three paints I mentioned: gunship gray, the gunmetal, the gunship gray, and haze gray, and turning this guy into a phase shift deactive. The only issue is I gotta find the right picture to do this with, because the thing is he already has gray on him. Like, the vents are already gray, so is the rail cannons. And his chest is already in that kind of darkish blue, but as it stands, I know I'm going to want to paint it into a gray. So the dilemma here is, how do I do this without it going haywire? And first off, I can say this much. Um, the chest here, this kind of bluish black here, this would have to go gunship. It's definitely going to go gunship. So that means this, the wings and his backpack are going to be in the gunship, so that's fine. The next thing is the blue. The blue can get the gunship gray, so that only counts for the torso and the wings and the feet. But then there's the red, which is in a few spots, like 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. Like, there's the red. So the red is also going to get the gunship gray as well. Sadly, it has to, because the Strike, it was easy to do this with. Like, the blue torso being gunmetal, the red on the torso being gunship, the white being haze. And then since he had red feet, haze, gunship gray. It was easier to do this. This one is a little bit more trickier, because you're going to need a darker and lighter gray on the wings, all 3 grays on the torso, 2 on the shoulders, 2 on the face. The arms is 1. So all the white, is, I can tell you right now, will be the haze gray. So you can already imagine seeing this with, you know, haze gray, the white and yellow up here being haze gray, haze gray, haze gray, haze gray. The darker one here and there is gonna have to be the gunmetal to help make it, you know, pop, but also help it stand out a bit. So gunmetal, gunmetal. So all that would be painted gunmetal. And then the red and the blue would have to get the haze gray. And hopefully this will make it work. I'm hoping that it will. But only, well, time will tell and see how it looks. I'm going to be looking up an image as well to see exactly how this will look, or how is it supposed to look, and then I can just go from there. So, after, you know, spending about 6 hours painting this guy, I give you the deactive Freedom Gundam. So, like, the only thing I did not paint was the shield and the beam rifle, but everything stays the same. I am going to go back and add another coating out there, well, to kind of hide some stuff here and there, especially because the wings still has some of that blue showing. I didn't do a strong enough coating, but we're gonna go back and add another coating of blue to it, and well, another coating of gray. Same thing, like another coating of gray here and here. But yeah, this is the Freedom with its, as they say, deactive mode. I'm gonna just, I'm trying to readjust him because his wings, yeah, he has weird disbalance. So this is what he looks like. Like I said, like I did with the strike, I did the, for the white I did the haze gray. For the blue and the red I did the gunship gray, and for like the other parts I did the gunmetal. I didn't do gunmetal across everything, like on the knees. It's still the original color, so I didn't touch those. Same thing on the rail guns, the middle part here, and the railguns themselves are non-painted. So I didn't touch the railguns, I didn't touch this part. So I left those the same. Same thing with the vents on the chest, I didn't paint those. Also, if you know, Freedom's face has like he has like a second layer that kind of pops out from the side. I did not paint that, and I should have painted that part here. I should have painted this other part because, you know, like the Freedom's face is like his chin is red and then his face guard is white, but then kind of right behind it that you can see on the side is like gray. That part is actually blended in really well with the haze gray, so I should have painted that in the darker gray, slightly darker gray, because I forget there is a color separation enough so you wouldn't notice it. Or I should have done it in gunmetal gray, but I wasn't thinking about it at the time until like after I finished it, because I was like, well, it's gray and it doesn't really, you know, he doesn't need the paint that part, because I was like, all the gray I'm not going to paint because, you know, why paint it? It's like it doesn't need it. But like I said, I'm gonna go back and add another layer of coating here because I do want to spruce it up, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it today or not because the with the weather being kind of funky, I might have to hold off on tomorrow. But yeah, this is the Freedom, basically it. Same thing even on the wings. The black part, these darker parts, I didn't paint them because I wasn't thinking about doing it. And also, I'm also running low on my gunmetal gray, so I need another can of that. But like I said, if I really think about it, like I said, tomorrow I'll probably come back to this, take off the knees and these other parts and like the torso, and you know, hit that gunmetal on them, and do the face as well, to do that part in gunmetal just to tighten it up. The only downside is with the arms, so it's because I couldn't pop off this the armor part off to paint this, and I forgot to get masking tape. I tried to masking this off in a different manner, but it didn't work, so I was like, screw it. But it's whatever, and I really couldn't force it out anyways without trying to break anything, so I won't worry about it. So if worst comes to worst, tomorrow when I go back to paint this, like I said, I'm gonna repaint the torso gunmetal. I'm gonna paint part of that mask on the side of the face and gunmetal. Paint the black parts here gunmetal. Do that and give it the gunmetal feel, because I think if I do, it'll look better. So technically, when I was painting this, like I said, the gray parts that's naturally, I should have painted them, but I was like, I don't need to because they're gray. They don't really clash that often with this, especially because it's kind of in a gray scaling anyway, so it's technically fine. So all the white I did in the haze gray, and haze gray is like the closest gray to this part, to the parts like on the Freedom, like around his collar, And the vents, the haze gray is like the closest thing to this. Like, if you look at the legs and like the legs and the railguns, that coloring is roughly the same. And the wings. Well, luckily for me, this is not like a finished thing. So, like I said, I'm gonna paint this tomorrow, and the paint is gonna help really tighten him up. It's gonna help tighten up these joints. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the Freedom is these wing parts, but like I said, I'm gonna be painting these tomorrow during the day with some sunshine out, so that will really take care of that. So as I did with the painting, as I was trying to say, let me go ahead and remove this. Yeah, it really looks that arm is stiff as a bird. So like I said, all the white is haze gray. The yellow is haze gray. Same thing like I did with the strike. On the shoulders was mostly white, so that became haze gray. I was looking at pictures of the Freedom, and I had to look on the Gundam fandom wiki to find some. That was like the only place I can look and see actually anything. So I looked up there and I said, okay, so it's a darker gray. So I was like, both parts, the blue part underneath and the red part up here, I just made those the gunship gray. And I went with that. The torso, since there's white here, that was the haze gray. The gray part here, I did not touch. I just left it. I really didn't touch it because it kind of matches with the gunship gray. The main torso part, which I'm gonna have to go back and fix because I was messing around with dirty hands and I forgot I had paint on my hands grabbing this part. So the torso, I did the gunmetal gray because that helps it. Plus, like I said, I need more gunmetal gray anyways. The gray that was already here, I never touched it. I just took those off and moved them to the side. And this part right here that was red, I made that the haze gray because, you know, from images I saw, it's like dark, light, dark, so I went with that same concept. The head, the white and yellow V-fan, I made that gray because, you know, light gray, this way you go. The two pieces that was red, which is the forehead and the chin, go with the darker gray, made that the haze gray. I could have done gunmetal, but I might go back and change it to gunmetal gray and make the make the chin gunmetal and make that side piece the gunship gray. Or you know what, I just might make them both gunship gray because it shouldn't matter too much. And that's the only gray part I have to paint anyways. The side skirts, I only painted the red parts. The red parts I painted in the gunship gray. And the white is the haze gray. Everything else is the same. The feet are in the gunship gray. Gonna have to go back and do another coating. Apparently I think I missed that spot. So yeah, like you see, it's haze gray, gunship gray, and gunmetal. If you was doing this yourself, it's the same way to go. It really works. And I wasn't sure about painting the, like, do I paint the beam sabers or not? But from, I guess, images I've seen, these are painted. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell me if I'm correct or not. But I would think weapons like this are not painted. I would think that would be the case with something like the strike. Well, the Aegis and this, well, not Aegis, the Duel and the Savior. When they was face shift down, like the beam sabers are still colored in white. They're not grayed, so they don't get affected by it. At least that's what I would think. I painted the back part here gunmetal, this part blue. The rail cannon, or the plasma cannons, had to paint them with the gunship, the haze gray and the gunship gray. The only thing is missing is the gunmetal. If I paint that in there, like I said, I will paint this more likely tomorrow because with the weather the way it is over here where I'm at, it's kind of not a good idea right now to do it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Freedom. And like I said, I wasn't sure about the beam sabers, but everything else was pretty, pretty chilled and tamed, easy to paint. Like I said, the gunship gray really helps out with the haze gray to make this work. Like I said, all I got to do is go back and hit a few areas with the gunmetal, and that's basically it. And luckily, it's only gunmetal, so the chest and the wings and the side skirts. That's it. But yeah, this is the Freedom and the face shift down. So with me having two Freedoms, this was bound to happen. So I do like this, and I don't know why the beam saber is not staying in there, because technically it shouldn't have issues staying in there. Now, if you're wondering, like, what about the pegs or some parts? I don't take those parts off. I just leave them in there. Like the pegs that, like on the rail skirt, on the side skirt rail guns, that pegs into the waist, I just leave them up there. I don't worry about them. Certain parts I don't peg, or certain sides I don't peg because it's going to be covered up anyways. But yeah, this is the Freedom, and I do like it. It looks amazing. And that's another one off my bucket list of painting that is done. So I think I have like maybe one or two more I want to paint, or I'm going to try and paint to look better, and that will be it. So see you with the next one.